Hey, folks out there on YouTube, this is Christian Prepper talking to you today. Got a day off and look what I'm doing. That's right, rotating gas. You know, prepping's a lot of work, and some of the stuff like this gets kind of monotonous. And I guess today's message would be to persevere, push on through. I never thought that we would still be here in 2011, still struggling through. I figured everything would be collapsed by now. But it's not, and it's hard to continue to rotate stock and to keep everything going. But I know what's coming. I know we can't continue down the road that we're on economically and not crash and burn. So rotating this type of stuff is very important. It takes a little time, but it's well worth it. You'll notice here I got a bunch of individual gas cans. I don't have a huge tank. I thought this would be more fitting in what I'm trying to do. One thing you might notice too is all the yellow tags that's on these cans. Those are just warehouse type tags that you can twist on there. And I keep the date of when I fill that can up. That lets me know how old that gas is. That lets me know when I need to replace it. And when I replace it, I just write a new date right under the last date. And that lets me know. I try to rotate my gas about every 6 months. I've heard a lot of different opinions on it. I've heard some people use all kind of stabilizer. And you know, I've had mechanics tell me gas starts breaking down from day one. I've had mechanics tell me it's good for 3 months. But, you know, I rotate mine every 6 months. I don't have a problem with it. When I store my gas, you know, I always go to a station that carries gas that does not have ethanol in it. That'll make your gas last a lot longer. I also store diesel, and I don't know if you can see in the background there, but I have a little farm tractor that's a diesel tractor, so I try to keep 30 or so gallons of diesel on hand, and this is something I build on. You know, if I'm somewhere and they have a sale on gas cans, or I pick up a new gas can, or maybe at a yard sale or something, I pick it up, fill it up, stick it into my storage here. And this is not my only storage. This is actually a shop I have. You know, I have more gas at home. I keep gas inside my camper. You know, I keep all my vehicles pretty much full. You know, I don't go to empty before I fill up. I go to half full. You know, most of the stuff I drive, I have 30 plus gallon tanks. So, you know, I'm always having 15, 20 gallons left in there before I stop and fill up. So, you know, fuel is very important, especially if you've got to get out of town quick, or even in my case, I don't plan on going anywhere, but, you know, later on down the road to run garden tillers and chainsaws, you know, this will eventually run out, but it'll hold you for a good while. You notice in the background there with the propane cylinders, that's another thing that I stock up on. If I run up on one at a good deal, or I had a guy the other day just give me 2 of them. And, you know, I keep those full of propane. Of course, I've got, you know, tanks on front of my camper that I keep full, and I've got an exterior tank at my house I keep full, a big tank. And, you know, but these kind of stuff right here will be handy. This will be handy. I could use either one of these with heaters I have. I could use them with my fish cookers for canning purposes. I mean, there's all kind of stuff you can use it for. This is the kind of stuff I use all the time. The only problem is with the diesel and the gas, you've got to rotate it. The propane is good to go. You can let it set. But, you know, folks, like I say, you know, it's getting nearer and nearer. And once everything collapses, you know, you won't be able to get stuff like this. So you might as well think about buying you some cans and storing you some gas. You know, I've known several boys that's had extra tanks put on their vehicles. And, you know, you can do that not for a tremendous amount of money extra. You know, add a 30-gallon tank or a 20-gallon tank to your vehicle. You know, this is going to be important. But like I say, if you store gas, be sure you keep up with the date. I would rotate it at least every 6 months. Buy gas to store that has no ethanol in it. And, of course, just be careful where you store it. You know, you got to use common sense. You know, you don't want to store it somewhere where it's going to blow up. near an open flame or something. But that's about all I got today, guys. Just persevere, push through. We're going to have to endure this. Like I said, I never thought it would last this long. And it kind of wears you down after a while, just the anxiety of it. Just, it's almost I catch myself sometimes just, almost wishing, let's just go ahead and get this over with so we can start back. But when I really think about what that entails, I'm glad it hadn't happened yet. I'm thankful for every day that I can reach and turn a light switch on. I'm thankful for every day I can turn a hot shower on. And I'm thankful for every day that I have to spend with my kids and my wife in a home where we got food and we don't have to worry that much about security and, letting my kids get a little bit older and a little bit more trained, a little bit more trained to deal with what's coming down the road, because when this happens, it's going to be kind of unprecedented. There's never been a civilization like ours that's collapsed. The closest thing to it would be, people compare it to Katrina when Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans, but that's not a comparison. That's a glimpse of what happened. But the rest of the country piled in there and helped them folks. And within a month, everything was back up and running. That's going to be the picture of how, when you got a highly populated area that's welfare dependent, that's what it's going to look like. There's going to be rapes, killings, looting, robberies, and everything else you can imagine. But as far as there's going to be nobody to rush to our aid. I was in Katrina. Not far as the storm, but I went as disaster relief with my church. And when we got there, man, the Red Cross was set up with big feed units, and they was semis full of ice, semis full of MREs. They had it going on. People were still struggling, but they wasn't starving to death. And that's going to be the main difference. It's going to get pretty ugly. This stuff right here, like I say, could you could use in your chainsaw for wood. You could use in your garden tiller, or in your car to get somewhere and get back. Or you could use it as a bartering tool. But I guarantee you, fuel will be in high demand, and it's worth storing. So that's about all I have today, guys. God bless you, and have a good day.